Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I'm the person behind Happy Puppy Truffles. Today I wanted to share with you guys just a little kind of quick special tips kind of video for you guys about how to find origami paper everywhere around you. You don't have to have a fancy origami store where you can buy paper. You don't have to have craft stores around. There's actually lots of really cool paper all around us that you can use for different projects. And I just wanted to kind of share with you guys some of the things that you can use. Just to kind of give you guys some ideas, you can use chocolate wrappers. I used a chocolate bar wrapper here to make this little envelope. And, if you have somebody who's a chocolate fan, what better way to give them, money or some kind of a gift like that than to use the wrapper from their favorite chocolate bar. That's always fun to do. I also went ahead and made a little kusadama using the wrapper from basically what's similar to like Starburst candies. And the nice thing about these wrappers is that they have that little layer of aluminum on them, just like a gum does sometimes. And when you fold them, you actually, I didn't use any glue, and this is too small to use the other technique of folding underneath. It just sticks because it's that nice strength that you get from the aluminum on there. So that can be really cool too. And I have one of the pieces here. You can see obviously it's rectangular. It's not square in shape. So all you have to do is when you have a piece of paper that has nice clean edges like this one does, you just need to fold in half into a big triangle, trying to keep your paper as smooth as you can. And then you can just cut off the excess on the side. Now, of course, it's key that the other sides are all straight. If they're not, you need to find a way to make one side straight and then work from there, and I'll show you guys how to do that with some other paper. But you can see here, it's just this little extra that I need to trim off, but then that'll give me a square sheet of paper that then I can use for origami projects. Now, you can choose, like I'm doing, to just trim up right against the edge. You can fold over the edge, open things up, and then cut along the crease. All sorts of different ways you can do it. They do sell these fancy little things in the stores here that are, it's a big square, and then you're supposed to be able to just put some pressure on it and tear along the edge so that you can use scrap paper and wrapping paper to create standard 15 by 15 centimeter paper. But those things are like 400 or 500 yen. What a giant waste of money. I don't think you need that because also you get a torn edge, and I don't like torn edges for origami, so I want a nice clean edge. So being able to just use that technique of making into a triangle gives you a piece of paper that's square then, and then you can do something fun like this. That's like a cute small size. What a perfect size for like a Christmas ornament or something too. You don't have to have lots of fancy paper. It still creates sort of a fun, different kind of pattern design there. I also have some other things here. For example, if you're using the actual foil from the chocolate, you can see here I've kind of separated it out here. And you want to make sure, of course, that it's clean, so I need to kind of clean up the edges. There's some little bits of chocolate kind of hiding in the corners here. And then you can see this is just an unusual shape. How do you use this to get into anything for stuff? That can be a little scary at first, but what you want to do is just start off and try to get one edge that's straight. And straight is whatever you make it. So I'm just going to fold and create an edge that I'm going to use as a guideline. And then I can cut along that edge. And this is tricky to use. Foil's tricky to use because it tears easily and it's very thin. But it can create some pretty cool paper. It's not like foil origami paper that actually has, paper based behind aluminum. This has nothing but foil. This is pure foil, so. But you can kind of get one edge started, and then on the next side, fold it up enough so that you get a chance to get part of the previous edge to line up against it. And you want to just try to keep things looking as straight as you can. Get one side folded over and go ahead and trim that off. A lot of times what you have to do with this is just keep working down until you can get to a size that works. So you kind of have to deal with whatever dimensions you wind up getting in the end. You can't say to yourself, okay, I have to get 10 by 10 centimeter piece of paper from this, because that might be a little too tricky. But I've got 2 clean edges now, and then I can just go ahead and connect both of those by making a diagonal crease here. And you can see this is running to the edge here, and I can just fold down over here and get a clean edge going from both of those sides, and then trim up off of that side. And then we'll just double check to make sure that our paper is in fact square. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it does get a little weird doing this. But if you open it up and you fold it the other way again, you can double check to make sure that you have a square piece of paper. And in this case, you can see it gets nice and smooth to both sides. So that's actually a good shot of things. And you can hear how tricky this is. Foil is tricky to use, but if you're doing something like a medallion fold or something like that, it should work pretty good actually. I could show you guys quickly how to make a box. You really do want to try to keep things smooth, because foil has a tendency to kind of get smushed together and to create a whole new shape a little bit, so you gotta smooth it out with your finger as you work, and then try to get it to work the way you like. And really you've got to work slowly as you make the crease, or it might wind up getting kind of funky on you. So take your time with it. But and of course too, you don't want to accidentally bump into anything or tear it, because this does tear ridiculously easy. And that can be disappointing, that you've been working on a difficult origami and then you find it all broken. So but foil, whether it be from a chocolate bar or from your aluminum foil roll in your kitchen, can create some pretty cool origami. So but you can see how tricky it is to use, but you can get some pretty cool results. So I would definitely recommend it as some kind of paper that you can enjoy using to make some fun projects with that too. Another thing that's pretty common that people like to do, and I've shown you guys before as well, is you can use bags, gift bags of course. If you just, like I said, start off with some kind of a part here that you can work with. I'm going to cut this off really quick. But if you find a section that you like and you want to use, I can kind of cut down here first. And we could just use the same technique here. I'm just going to take, because I do have a clean edge here, I'll cut right on the edge of where things were folded over. And then I can try to take some of this off too. And if you know you're not going to see the underside, it doesn't matter if some of this has some of this kind of tear there, as long as what project you're doing doesn't show that, then it won't be so obvious. But I have a nice clean edge on this side, and then this side's even pretty good with that serrated edge. And if you prefer, you can keep that if you think it looks cool. I would like it if it was on both sides, which it's not, so I can go ahead and just adjust this a little bit and fold it up and make it cut off. But it's just the same techniques that we did with the other paper too, where you are going to work towards trying to make a big triangle and then just cutting things down. So it's pretty much the same steps, and it's just a process of finding the right balance of the paper that you're looking at. I get that kind of folded over, and then I can just fold this over too, trying to keep things even, and then I can go ahead and trim things off and then double check to make sure I made a good square shape. And there's just so many fun things you can do with these pieces of paper. Then you can have them, make lots of fun projects with this stuff if you've got a nice perfect square piece of paper. You can also make a template and try to get lots of different pieces of paper from different places and try to keep them down to the same size. I just randomly did this. I don't know exactly the dimensions, but that's one way to kind of get the sizing that you need then, or the basic form of things, so that you can do some stuff with them. I also wanted to just show you guys too I happen here in Japan, they give you this kind of paper on the top of salmon that's cooked in a jar. And that's like such pretty paper, right? If you could just save that and use that for something. I wanted to show you guys really quick, one thing you can do is you can iron out your paper so that you can kind of make it fresh. And if I take here, let me see here, I've got my iron board. That just fits, wow, good. You want to try to have, you know, the paper here, and then if you can, you want to have some kind of cotton on top of it. And, you know, some aluminum foils, you want to be careful because some of the aluminum might actually be removed with the heat of the layer of aluminum might. So you want to test it out if you have an extra piece of paper. You always want to put something between stuff and your iron because you don't want your iron to get ruined too. But if you just take a little bit of pressure, I've put mine on you know, medium or high heat, and then if you just kind of iron things out here, you should be able to kind of create a nice smooth surface for yourself to work with. You may not be able to eliminate everything, but you can try to, putting a little bit of pressure, you should be able to kind of smooth things out to get things down so that it looks a little easier to work with. Let me try here, if we leave it for like about 20 seconds. But you can see that really kind of creates a little bit more smooth surface for my paper then. You can do this too if you've been folding something and it got a little weird. You want to try to start over a little bit. Like I said, it doesn't make it perfectly smooth. You can't eliminate everything, but it does create a nice little starting point for things so that you can hopefully have the paper that you want for that. Now, one other last little thing I just wanted to show you guys too is if you happen to be just using regular old, you know, spiral paper, right? And I'm going to go ahead and take just a couple sheets out here so I can show you guys the difference of how this looks. And that actually has, this paper has a tearaway side, but I just wanted to take it all out here for a second. This can be actually a pretty cool paper pattern if you use it the right way. First of all, it has some rounded edges, which is a little annoying, and so you want to maybe eliminate that if you can. Now I want to get rid of this red line that's on the other side, and it also helps because I want to get rid of the rounded edge. So I'm just going to cut just shy of the red line so that I don't see it anymore. And if you wanted to, you could fold and make this clear, but I'm just going to follow the red and just be cutting a couple of millimeters in front of it so that there's no extra there. But I get a nice clean edge. And then I want to make sure I get the same thing on the other side, so I'm just going to cut over here too, just in front of the red. And I should be able to get 2 square pieces of paper out of this if you look at things the way they are here. I'm just going to go ahead and fold this up, and this is nice because it's lined paper, so you can kind of use the lines as a guide, and in this case it just happens to be perfectly right there. And I probably actually won't be able to get another piece because I don't want to have that extra bit of white that's at the top, because you want to have some kind of uniform paper here when you use this. But this is some cool paper. It's striped cool paper here actually. So I have a couple pieces of paper here, and then what I want to do is I'm actually going to show you one other way that's kind of a fun different way, and that's to take and to try to you know, use the lines in a different way to create a different kind of pattern. And I'm not going to be able to get the exact same size as this, but what I can do is looking at things here, I want to create a you know, I want to create a triangle here in the middle. So I'm just going to fold my paper in half. I'm going to go to that crease, that serrated edge that's on the side here actually. So I've got this part folded in half. If I take one of these other pieces of paper and fold it in half, you can see here I can actually get just about the right size here. It's going to be just a little shy. If it's going to be just a little short, what I want to do is bring the tip of the diamond out a little bit here. I'm just going to use this as a guide right here because this is a place that makes I can show you easier with a ruler so that you can see what I'm doing. You want to find a place where you can get a good angle that goes from the corner straight up, and you really want it to be the same angle as this paper. So I'm using this paper as a guide to kind of show me, because it's a 45-degree angle. I can get this then to come across and try to create a line that goes straight through here. And if you just give it a little crease, you can kind of start it. But then you're folding just straight up. And I can just trim off that part right there. And then from that, I can also just fold straight up to the part where things touched on the sides. Get it to fold straight. You can make sure you're straight because you're following all these lines, getting it lined up on the edge. And then again here I can cut. This is sort of a roundabout way of creating a square, but what I'm doing is allowing the pattern of the paper to appear differently on my paper. So get this part kind of cut off here. I'll show you guys the results once I get this unfolded. You can see what I wind up getting is this kind of cool pattern then, with the lines going this way as opposed to this way. So it gives a different kind of paper that way. And then you can just make similar kinds of boxes and get different results from this. Let me go ahead and fold them up and I'll show you guys the different ways. First, I'll make this one into a box. I'll show you guys how it looks. You can see the difference just by the different ways that the lines are going in the paper here, because it gives you a different kind of resulting product with stuff. So you don't have to just strictly follow the same rules of making a box square. You can kind of play around with the pattern of the paper that you're dealing with. You can use newsprint, lots of different fun things, pages out of your favorite magazine, all sorts of different things you can do. So definitely kind of just a fun different thing that you can do. You don't always have to have fancy origami paper around. You can use different things around you to create really fun, cool origami projects. And you know, you don't have to have the expensive stuff to still be able to have a lot of fun. So don't let not having supplies hold you back from doing something fun. And I'll have some more fun things to share with you guys in the days to come. Thanks again always for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.